Because what they say, it's like if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, bring others with you.
Yeah. Because I knew 100% that I was going to live for God after that season. And I didn't know if fashion was still it. I didn't know if World of Fear was still going to be it. And
you got to work for free for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be a slave either. But like, you got to work for free. You got to invest some time. You got to have some skin in the game to make, I think, to be able to make it work. If not, it's only going to work to a certain extent.
Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Totem Podcast. I'm your host, Monico Carrillo, of course.
We got Eric here. I'm your other co-host here on the Totem Podcast. But guys, like always, remember we are on all the podcast platforms. You know, like Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff, and on YouTube, obviously. So we'd appreciate it if you just give us a review on there, and on YouTube, click subscribe, turn the bell to be notified every single time we got a new video up. And if you guys like today's guest, hit that like button. But with that, guys, welcome to the podcast where an act of rebellion is to question.
We got a great guest today, Eric. You know me, I'm huge on branding, your business, whatever you're doing. So we got the perfect guest today for that. So Angelo, welcome to the show.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
No, appreciate you for, coming out, taking a little cruise down here to be with us.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. And I had seen a few of your podcasts, and I was kind of hoping you'd eventually bring me on. So
waiting
yeah,
for the
just
invite,
waiting. I wasn't like waiting, and I wasn't. But it was like I think at some point you might reach out to me. So
No, yeah, you're doing great stuff, like putting yourself out there, creating a brand and all that stuff.
appreciate
And
it.
we haven't really spoken since high school, so it's nice to catch up and actually see what we're both kind of got going on.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a perfect way to kind of meet up and catch up again.
So for the people who don't know you, can you just give a little brief description of who you are and what you do?
My name is Angelo Rivera, owner of World of Fear, high school known as $1 Million Dream, MDD. Yeah, that kid that used to screen print tees and sell them in the hallways at high school. So, yeah.
I mean, brand starts somewhere. Everyone has, perfect, the name, $1 Million Dream, got to start somewhere. Give me a little bit of, little backstory. How was your upbringings? When you were younger? Because you're in high school, you said you're screen printing tees and stuff, but when you're younger, say 10 years old, around that age, what kind of kid were you? Did you always dream of doing stuff like this?
I didn't know, and I wouldn't say I was very artistic even, but when I was younger, my mom used to get mad at me because I used to draw on all my shoes, and little did we know I was that was the actual beginning, that was me trying to create something different than everybody else. But as far as that, I didn't design anything, and then it wasn't until 2015 or 16 when I started playing around on PixArt and drawing these, just whatever I can think of would look cool, and then that eventually became oh, this would look cool on a T-shirt, and then $1 Million Dream started. Yeah.
And that's crazy though. I always have there's a phrase out there. It's if you judge a fish by the ability to climb a tree, it's always gonna think it's stupid. So it's crazy. You're small, you're younger, and you're drawing on your shoes. Are this kid, what's he doing? Drawing on all, and now it's just it's art.
Yeah.
It's crazy, no?
Yeah. It is crazy, and like I said, I don't think my mom knew. I didn't know I'd be a designer at that age, obviously,
And I'm just curious, was it just kind of oh, let me just throw this design up on a tee and see what happens, or were you kind of all right, I'm gonna try and build something, or is it just you kind of just started designing and you kind of just took off from there?
Who was it? I think it was our junior year. Yeah, when I was drawing on PixArt, and I had all these designs in my phone, and I was telling people, I was hey, I think this will look cool on a tee, I think I'm gonna start a brand, and I think not many people, took me serious or thought I was just talking or whatever, and it wasn't until the day that I showed up with one of my tees on. It was like the first tee. It was like the what was it? The Band-Aid for Feelings tee. I don't know if you ever remember that one.
I remember that one.
There's an Instagram picture from that day, but I remember showing up that day and people knew that I was like, okay, serious.
Because when we were just talking about it, people were like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's all talk, but then when you actually show up, it's like, oh.
Yeah, and then I showed up with that tee on, and I walked out of school that day with $600 in pre-orders.
Really?
$600 in pre-orders?
Yeah.
Dang.
What?
Yeah, dude.
First day,
$600 in pre-orders. I had cash, and I'm only 16, and I'm like, oh.
How do you do that, though? Like, did people just start walking up to you like, hey, dude, give me one? Or did you kind of have, like, another, like, list of designs and stuff?
Yeah, well, I had designs, and then some of the people that I was showing those designs to knew it was real once I came with it on. And then those are the people that gave me the pre-order, so, yeah.
So first one, when you get the pre-order, I'm just thinking, because you don't, I'm guessing, maybe you did, but you go into school, are you actually thinking you're going to get all these orders, or you're just like,
I'm going to just start repping my
I'm just
brand.
go, see where it goes, and then you get this list, now you're just like, oh shit, now I got to go make all these shirts.
I don't know what, I think it was just in my head, and I just was very bold to just do it. I definitely didn't expect to walk out of school with $600 in pre-orders.
Where would you, like, make the shirts? How did that start? Because, I mean, making shirts isn't as easy as people might think. Or is it?
Then it wasn't.
Then
Now you have, like, the Crickets, and you could buy heat press for, like, $100. So it's easy now. But, I mean, then at 16, I was like, I didn't even know how it was just going to be. I was just going to send all these T-shirts to Brooklyn Graphics and have them print them. And after, like, a few of my orders, I walked in there, and she's like, hey, I know you're trying to start something. Do you just want to come in and print your T-shirts yourself? And I was like, yeah, like, yeah. And then I was just, I was printing my tees at Brooklyn Graphics, and yeah, they were amazing. They let me use all their equipment and everything, and that's how the brand started, dude. I was in there every day. Yeah.
That was the brand $1 Million Dream, right?
$1 Million Dream, yeah.
How did that get transferred now, or did it get transferred like now? Because it's a
World to Fear.
World to Fear, yeah.
We haven't even had graduated high school yet, and I was like telling people, I was like, man, there's like this other side of me that I need to express, and like I feel like I can't do it through $1 Million Dream, because it was like a sportswear line in a way. I had clothes collections that I was selling out of the body firm, and everything was, like positive and Jimmy and like stuff like that. But at the time I was like super depressed, and I've always had anxiety, and I was like, man, I need an outlet for that side of me. And it was like 3 a.m. one morning. I was up, and I was like designing, and I was like, start a new brand that's gonna be called Fear Everything. And then I was like, I had designed like almost like a whole collection in my laptop, and I was like, well, Fear Everything isn't catchy, it's very broad. And then another 3 a.m. thought, World to Fear, and it just stuck, and it was just so unique, and it's been, yeah, I think it speaks for itself. Yeah.
And this happened while you're still in high school? Or was it like afterwards?
This was shortly after high school. This was probably end of 17, early 18. Yeah.
So it was like during high school you kind of like felt like you needed to start something new?
Yeah, I did. I remember like telling people again, I was like, I don't know if MDD's working for me anymore. It's just not the way I want to create. And even then I was like, I knew that I wanted to design beyond print and tees, and I felt like World to Fear was going to be everything that MDD wasn't. Yeah. So
how was it? So like when you have when you're still like that, like younger, slaying the tees and stuff, like, are you just doing that, to make some money, or do you have a job too, or like how's this going, or are you like killing it, like? Give me a little perspective how that is.
Those T-shirts I sold in high school saved my life, I feel. I didn't have a job. I didn't have nothing. I don't come from money. And yeah, selling those T-shirts in high school, man, it's like, that's how they fed me. That's how I had dinner after football games. That's how I bought the things that I needed, you know? So, yeah.
Would you make like a big profit on the shirts, or would like the Brooklyn Graphics, where they like kind of sell it to you at whatever they sold it at?
For a while, I was printing for free. It was like just buying T-shirts from their wholesale account and printing them there, and they let me do it all for free. So yeah, my profit margin was, I think, like well over like 500%.
Damn.
Yeah, but yeah, man. But like I said, those tees saved my life, dude. I think it played out exactly the way it was supposed to, because God knew I needed that money. Yeah.
That's crazy, because we always talk about it too, like me and Eric, that a lot of people aren't willing to work for free for the while. Like, you got to work for free for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be a slave either, but it's like, you got to work for free. You got to invest some time. You got to invest, you got to have some skin in the game to make, I think, to be able to make it work. If not, it's only going to work to a certain extent, I think.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, yeah, definitely need to know that, because especially when you're starting out, there's a lot of things to learn, and you're not where you should be, you know what I mean? Your work isn't as good, and it's like, so you have to, like, give out some free work and learn and get better, and then eventually get to the point to where you can actually sell your service or product. Yeah.
So you said you were kind of like towards the end of like high school, whatever, you got kind of like depressed and had like anxiety. Is there like something that caused that or anything, or is it just kind of like it just like slowly crept in, and or how'd you deal with that? Because we went to school together, and I, like, from what I remember, like I don't remember you kind of like being all like sad or down on yourself or anything. I always saw you like a big smile on your face.
Yeah, dude. I think when people hear that I just said that off this podcast, they're gonna be surprised, because I was the strong one. Yeah, but no, I've always had anxiety, and then yeah, after high school, it was a lot of depression, and that was me just feeling stuck. Like, I just knew that I was like destined to be a designer. I knew that I wanted to grow this brand, and I just felt so stuck. I didn't have the people, I didn't have the resources, I didn't know how to do it out of Fort Morgan. I didn't know how to move to Denver and do it. So I just felt like super stuck, and I spent like a couple years, just trying to find out how to launch World to Fear, So, yeah.
So a lot of that too, like you're saying, like you didn't have like support and stuff, like like friends or family and stuff. And I just literally made a post the other day. And it's kind of like, a lot of people might think it's like controversial, but it's like, you shouldn't expect other people to believe in your dream, because it's not their dream. It's our dream. But it fucking sucks when you're in that position, though. Like, you just need sometimes somebody just to believe in you a little bit, just to get you over that little slump. But it's like, when you put it in retrospect, like, they shouldn't have to believe you.
It definitely wasn't like I didn't have help, or if I didn't have people to give me the things that I need that I couldn't provide for myself, because I definitely had that. But it was like figuring out. Nobody could figure out how to get MDD or World to Fear off the ground for me. Nobody could figure out how to build a website for me. Like, nobody could do these things for me. These are the things that I had to figure out for myself, But it was like, I didn't know how. I've never been shown how to grow a business. I don't know any business owners. I don't know anybody that owns a brand. I didn't, you know what I mean? So it was like, I was just stuck trying to figure out how to just get rolling. Yeah.
And what do you think helped you get the ball rolling? You think moving out of here and seeing like a different atmosphere maybe, or what do you think kind of helped you get over that little,
Yeah, I definitely moving out of Fort Morgan, seeing more to the world. There's a lot more to offer. And then it's more common to maybe meet creative people in Denver than it is Fort Morgan. So that was a super big, like, move for me, literally.
And that's what we talk about a lot too on the podcast, is like, if you really want to like expand your horizons or expand, like, just like exposing yourself to like different situations, different cultures, different everything, you got to get out of your hometown.
Yeah.
Whether if you're Denver, I feel like you still got to like experience something different.
Yeah.
Especially here, like in Fort Morgan, like it's tiny. Like
Yeah,
there's not much to do, and like people do it in different ways. Some people go off to college, some people like end up moving, some people go work somewhere else. But like whatever it is, I feel like once you like get out of your hometown, then you expose yourself to so much more new things, and that's gonna like benefit you so much in the long run.
No, yeah, it definitely does. I mean, because there's just so much more to life than, you know, the small town that we live in. But I loved it. I loved Fort Morgan. But it just, once I got to a point, I outgrew it. But I love it. I loved growing up here. I loved going to high school here. I loved the people that I met. And I even did great things here. And I think some people use excuses, you know. It's like, it's this, it's that. These people, it's like, dude, I made the most when I was out of here. Like, I was selling T-shirts in high school. I was, you know, had collections releasing at the Body Firm. I was doing stuff with Ernie and Stevie Marquez. You know, they were promoting me on their fights, and I made the most out of what was here for me. Yeah.
And how'd you get like all those connections? Was it just like hitting them up like, hey, this is what I'm doing? Would it be possible if like I sold stuff here?
Yeah.
Stuff?
Yeah, it was, and they believed in me. I know. So it was like, yeah. I thank them the most. Yeah, it was amazing.
Why do you think that was? Was it just you and your vision that you had, or was it just because?
Do you think they believed like in your brand or in you?
Both. But at the same time, if you know Ernie Marquez, you know, I mean, just how great he is and how much he serves the community. You know, so I mean, that was then. The same thing with Paula Huff. So. Yeah, it was just, I think they knew, like I was just different, you know? And so I think they believed in me. But I think it was just who they are as well, like willing to help, yeah.
So does MDD still kind of live, or has that kind of just died off and World of Fear has taken over?
World of Fear is definitely the front. I haven't made $1 Million Dream T-shirt in a while, and I don't think it's gonna happen. But my LLC is $1 Million Dream, so that'll definitely stick.
Still there,
yeah,
still there.
So that's gotta keep it connected.
Yeah,
to the roots.
That's still home. Yeah, so.
No, that's cool. So now that you were talking about World of Fear stuff, so tell us a little bit, I guess, like what is it? Because people just hear that and then they're like, oh, it's just a T-shirt, just a hat. Like, tell us what it is, what it represents.
I never know how to answer this question.
It's good. There's no wrong answers because you're the CEO, you're the owner, so there's no wrong answers.
Yeah, it's me. It's my life. It's the way I express myself. It's the way I think. The things that I've gone through, turned into a physical form. So yeah, I mean, it definitely just reflects just my life, and that's like when I wanted to start World of Fear, it's like I need an outlet, and that's what it is for me. Yeah.
So who is it? I guess who is it intended for? Is it kind of intended for people that are kind of maybe going through similar stuff like you did, or just for like general, like everyone? Or
I would say, I mean, you would have to find the product visually appealing first. So I'd say that is the first person that but if you know me on a different level, or if you've heard my story or know where I come from, then I think that would be another attachment that you could have to a World of Fear product. But I'd say to most people, it's really just what it looks like, Yeah.
And what all products does World of Fear offer?
Right now, mainly just apparel, hats, jackets, tees, just regular fashion. But I'd eventually like to get into, I have ideas for furniture. I want to design furniture one day. I want to design rugs. I want to, maybe design a car with Mercedes or something. I don't think there's any limits to what I'm doing. I have a vision for a lot of things, and I think in due time it'll all come to life.
Yeah.
So
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And by just scrolling through your Instagram and stuff, it is are you religious or anything? Because from what I see, it's you always have the text is glory after flesh.
Yeah. No, I'm not religious. I have a relationship with God. I have a relationship with Jesus. You know what I mean? I actually don't even go to church. I think that shocks a lot of people too. But my relationship with God is everything. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just, it's just different, man. I don't know how to explain it fully, but it's I just know He controls my life, and I worship Him, and I love Him, and I've watched Him do amazing things in my life, and it's just super important for me to keep that relationship with Him, and I don't really follow a religion behind it.
But does religion mean going to church? Because I think it's two completely different things.
I think so, because you're Baptist, you're Pentecostal, you're Catholic. I think I see those as religions, and I don't follow any of that. It's just I have a relationship with God. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, but I was saying the physical. I was talking about the physical church with the religion. I think it's two completely different things, because you can be very religious and not go to church, or you can just have a relationship with God. So those are three different things for me in my eyes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people should know that church isn't going to get you to heaven. Your relationship with God is, you know what I mean? Having faith in Jesus is what's going to get you to heaven. And it's I think people just show up to church on Sunday and that's it. They're not praying to God the other 6 days a week. They're not listening to worship music or reading the Bible or whatever it is. It's it's not the way, man. You got to have a relationship with God. And once you understand that and just, watch God work in your life, it's amazing.
That's the first step for a lot of people, though. It's just stepping into the church and just...
Yeah, no. I'm not saying don't go to church.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying if you go to church and that's all you do,
people go to church and they expect stuff to happen.
Yeah.
They expect to receive all of this, but then they just show up and they don't even pray or pay attention to the priest or whatever giving the sermon.
It's the same thing. They'll buy a gym membership and they'll just sit on fucking TikTok all day and not do anything at the gym. But it's the same thing. Yeah.
Relationship over religion. That's the key.
There you go.
Was it always like that, or did you kind of find your way there?
I grew up around people who went to church, and my mom always blessed us before we went to bed, or told me to pray and all these things. But even then, we didn't go to church. I did go to church for a few years, and middle school and high school, but it didn't really stick with me, and I didn't really find God until 2020 in my bedroom. It wasn't at church.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you just kind of laying there and kind of just...
Yeah, I went through probably the darkest season of my life. And I don't even know if I'm ready to say all this because I might cry.
Yeah, because you're not ready, you're good.
Because it's that real for me. But I was super depressed, and I that was it. I was having suicidal thoughts. I didn't even know what the next minute was gonna be. And then I was laying in my room, and I was kind of looking up at the corner of my, the wall in in the roof, and I was like, God, I was like, I'm depressed, I'm broken, I'm lost. I need to know that you're here with me. Please say something. And I closed my eyes, and I saw, like, I was still like looking up into my room, and there was a cloud, and it was like thundering purple. And then came the strangest thing I've ever heard in my life. It was like this ringing in both of my ears, but I believe it was the trumpet of God. And it was the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced.
Really?
Like,
yeah.
Like listening to, or just seeing too? Like seeing that?
It was just the ring. I believe it was the trumpet of God, and I heard it, and it was like the fear of God, like the pure fear of God, and it was so unbearable, dude. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever felt in my life, and after that moment, I just laid there, and I was so like empty. Like, I didn't feel anything at all. It was the most empty I've ever felt. I was like, there was no love, there was no joy, there was no sadness, there was no pain. I laid there, and I was just empty. And then it wasn't until, I think, like a month later, when I had thought about that moment and I discerned it, and God was like, I'm right here. I've always been right here. He's like, you just have so much to learn, you know? Yeah. But
so you didn't like realize it at that moment. At that moment, you were just like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, it was I didn't know what happened, but I knew just whatever did, like, it was the fear of God. I felt it, dude. And it was the most terrifying thing I've ever felt in my life. It was unbearable.
That's crazy, dude.
And it kind of just ties in with like the name Rule to Fear.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like, and even then, because I know that, like after that moment, I didn't even know, or after that season of my life, I didn't know if I should continue World to Fear. I didn't know because I knew 100% that I was going to live for God after that season. And I didn't know if fashion was still it. I didn't know if World of Fear was still going to be it. And I was just praying, and I was like, then there was just one day I was like going to the gym, and I was like, just like praying to God, and I was crying in my car, and I was like, I will give you World to Fear. Like, just, I will live for you. I will live the brand out for you, and yeah, and I mean, it's been great since. I released the first collection you saw with the crown of thorns and stuff like that. Yeah, but I didn't know, because I knew I had to let go of a lot of things, and the collection that actually led me to that so depressing moment in my life was, I don't know if you remember it. It was the Rolling Stone with the Playboy. And the collection was named Sex and Rock and Roll. Mm-hmm. And it was just like...
Really? So that's the one that that collection is the one that led it?
Yeah. After I had like a big studio shoot for that. And the next 5 weeks I laid in my bed just depressed. And I think like a week after the photo shoot, I had launched the collection online. And I took it down 2 days later because... It didn't feel right. I just knew it wasn't who I was. I knew it wasn't what I was supposed to be putting out to the world. Yeah, and then you know, God spoke to me. It was
kind of hit like the reset button.
Yeah, no, definitely like the reset button. Like, man, you're on the wrong path. You're on the wrong path, and
I mean, I'm just getting chills just fucking like listening to you say that story.
I mean, we appreciate you. I mean, opening it up and telling us this, and it's like the big story. It's like, I don't know if you've heard this. This is like a anecdote kind of story, you know. But it's like you're walking with God on the beach, and then you're just like, it's a guy. He's just complaining to God, like, why haven't you been helping me and all this stuff, like. And then you look, he's like, they're walking on the sand, and he says, turn around, you know. And there's only one set of footprints. He's like, I've been carrying you this whole way.
Yeah.
So it's like that, like you're saying, like you thought about, like when you said you're there, and then a month later you think about it, it's like he's always been here. He's never left it.
I mean,
it's just we don't have sometimes we don't see it, when we're in the grind, whatever's happening, we don't see it then till we reflect a little bit later. It's like, oh.
Yeah, because I was definitely headed down the wrong path. I was super selfish, but I was super depressed, and I was, super selfish, and I wasn't paying no attention to anybody around me. I didn't care about nobody. I didn't care about nothing. I was just me in World of Fear, and I was on the wrong path, obviously. I named a collection Sex and Rock and Roll, praying to God to change my life, and it was just like, it just wasn't lining up, what I mean? And so he was like, okay, yeah. And
so it's like, what advice would you have to like other people who are kind of going through some stuff? Would you also kind of like suggest that they find that relationship with God?
Of course, dude, of course. Like, God created us all, and it's like, it's only right that you return your life to the Maker, the one who made you, the one who knows you best. It's like, how could you, he's gonna know the best for you, and once you align your heart and your mind with his plans, you're gonna see that he has great plans for you, and you're gonna see that, he'll change your life, and he'll help you through everything, and it's not gonna make your life easy, you're not gonna walk on gold after it, but you're gonna, like, you get those glimpses of him, and you watch him show up in your life, and it's like, you just know it's him. Like, you just know. It's just like, I could have never done that for myself. I could have never picked myself up the way he does for, Yeah. So it's like, it's the best thing it's the best thing you could ever do in your life, is to align your heart with God. And after I did that, I watched my life like just transform, dude. Like, and it wasn't overnight. It was day by day. It was, But I feel like 10 times the person I was before. I feel like.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like where I should be. I feel like I'm aligned with what he has planned for me. And I definitely still have my moments of doubt, and I still have my moments of. I'm still very anxious, so I still have my times where I don't have like my faith in him, but it's like the world is moving so fast, and it's like it's hard to navigate through life, and it's hard when he's like, just wait, just it's coming, and he's like, no, I need it now. It's like, yeah.
But that's, just a little 2 cents on it, but it's like, I think like with this brand you're building and stuff, I think it's great. And I think you're always, if you want to be growing and taking it to the next level, I think you're always going to have a little bit of anxiety. But I think anxiety is different than depression. So, just try to,
Yeah, no, but
stay away from the depression. Try to stay away from the depression side. But like anxiety, like, I think it's like you're having nerves to do stuff. It's a good sign because you're excited for it too.
Yeah, I do. I care a lot. I care about my life. I care about my brand. I care about the people. I just care about life a lot. Like, I've always just really cared, and that makes me anxious because I want everything to be perfect, and I want everything to work out. And when it doesn't, or when God has a different plan than yours, and it's like, no, like, so that's why I'm just very anxious, because I just care, and I want everything to be right. I want to have a good life. I want to, I want to be great.
It reminds me of, because you're saying like people turn to God and expect stuff to happen right away, but it's not always like that. It reminds me of a song my mom she just likes to sing as she's like doing chores or whatever, and it's basically like.
Are you gonna sing it for us already?
No, I don't have a voice like my mom. But basically, it's like this person who turns to God is like, God, like, I'm giving myself to you, and he's like, cool, but in order for me to make you the person you are, I'm gonna have to break you and then build you back up.
Oof, man, the way God breaks me sometimes, and all I can do is like just sit there and cry, because I feel like he just like just threshes my life, and I don't know what he's doing. And
Like-
then the threshing's done, and then he reveals himself to me, and it's like, this is what I was working on. It's like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't trust you. I was like,
During the process, it's just like,
yeah,
it's
the
like-
process is painful, man. But
I asked,
every season that I go through, you know, it's like hardships, and it's and then at the end of that, it's like, I see why he did that. I see why it happened like that, and it's like, okay, thank you so much, because if I would have, my way was not that way. So
the good thing is that you at least go back and you kind of see it, and you're just like, all right. But if you always saying that constant, like, oh, he doesn't love me, he doesn't do this, but it's like, it's the phrase, it's like, I asked God for strength, and he gave me more obstacles.
yeah.
And that's the thing, like, I mean, it sucks. Like, when you're going through, you're just like, you don't want to.
That's why you never pray for patience. Because man, he's gonna put you in some positions to test you, and
get
you better be
tested out.
patient because you prayed for it. Yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah.
So switching topics a little bit, talk to us a little bit about the stuff you got going on here soon in the next few weeks.
May 6th, I'll be showcasing a collection at Denver Fashion Week.
Congrats on that. It's
Yeah,
huge.
congrats.
Thank you.
Huge to
Thank
get
you.
on there. Yeah.
Yeah, long time coming, man. But I think God put it in my hand at the right time. Because like we had talked about, if it had happened earlier, I would not have been ready. There's no way. I've never operated at this caliber, and it's been a learning experience. And it's like every day I'm failing, every day I'm learning something new, and it's like, but I feel, yeah. I definitely feel convicted to do it. I feel like God put it in my life at the right time, and it's gonna be great, dude. I think I'm gonna shock a lot of people. Yeah, May 6th, Denver Fashion Week.
So how is that something like you kind of get chosen for? Is it something you apply for to get in there, or how is it?
Yeah, you gotta apply for, like a spot in the week. You know, there's gonna be a whole week, so it'd be mini shows in a day over, I think like 6 or 7 days. But yeah, you have to apply for it. So you've got to be chosen in order to showcase a collection. And yeah, I was fortunate enough to make it.
And how's one of these? Like, I mean, help me out a little bit. I don't got much fashion like myself, so I mean, if you guys haven't seen me, I don't got much fashion. Like, what goes on in one of these shows? Like, what all?
So there will be, I think, like 4 or 5 people, different brands, showcasing in one night. And it's a fashion show, dude. It's, just runway. Yeah.
Okay. But do you have like little like booths kind of storefront for other people to see your stuff after they see it on the runway, or like?
Yeah.
Or how's
yeah,
that?
but I'll have my own like booth on the 10th, May 10th at Denver Fashion Week, but I showcase on the 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much work goes into making a collection?
Because you're just saying before you were coming, like you're telling us how you were just coming from fits and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a lot more work than people probably understand. And it's like you can't just build a collection in 2-3 months, right? So a lot of the collection that I'm gonna showcase is like stuff that I've had in my laptop for up to years.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like just stuff ready to be released, and then a lot of it is also new stuff. But I mean, but it's a lot of work, man. Like I said, I've never operated at this caliber. I have 15 models,
Right.
And from those models, I have 3-4 pieces, 2 to 4 pieces I gotta make. So I've got to put together like 30, 40, 50 pieces, and it's like I have 2 months to do it, and
Wow.
I do it all myself.
And is it male, female, both that you have?
Yeah, male, female. My collection worked out perfectly. It's like half and half, male and female. It almost wasn't. Lately I've had a lot of ideas for women's looks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I was able to scrap a few men's looks together, and make it even. So, but it's gonna be great. I think, like I said, I think a lot of people are gonna be shocked at what I'm gonna showcase. It's world of fear like nobody's ever seen it, you know. So, yeah, and like today earlier, I was my roommate was like asking me about this jacket, and I had pulled up this jacket, and then I had pulled out the first tee that I ever made, and it was like, look how far I've came. It's like, damn.
So you keep that first T-shirt.
Yeah, I have that first T-shirt.
You got to keep the first one.
Yeah. Hopefully, that'll get framed if it don't rot by the time I get to framing it. But yeah. I have that first T-shirt. It's all faded. But it's sick though. It says $1 Million Dream on the back, and then it's got when I used to put my signature on the tees. Yeah, it's got my signature on the tees.
Like on the back of the neck?
Yeah. So it's, yeah.
I was just thinking as you're talking about that, we're talking about patience, you know, like, dude, if you had that stuff on your laptop for like years, you said, like, dude, when I think of something, I want it done yesterday, you know, so like waiting years to do that, I mean, I don't have patience for that, you know, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's not even, but it's like there's some things that I design, and it's like I'll design it and like a week later I can release it, you know, because I feel that good about what I create in that moment. But there's a lot of stuff, and I go back in my laptop and it's like, I think this is good. Like I think this is still valid. I think I can pull this out and make a piece out of it, or even a whole collection. So
does that have a lot to do with like timing, like when you release a certain thing, like you'll do better?
What do you mean?
Like you said, you have some stuff you'll make in a week, and you're like, okay, I'll put it out, and you know, and it'll do good. Or like other ones that you'll keep it for like a year, because you think maybe like if you set it out later, you know, put stuff out different, like seasonal, you know.
Like it's just not ready yet.
Yeah, it's just not ready yet. Like the people aren't ready for it yet, you know. Or is it kind of like that?
Kind of, yeah. But it's like this jacket I designed in 2021. I designed this jacket years ago, and I had spent I think 3 or 4 months designing this jacket, and then it's like the time just hasn't came, but now's the time to release it. Now's the time to showcase it. So yeah, it takes a while, but some things are right away. Yeah.
So are you always like designing, or how does like I'm just curious like how your like creative process is. Is it like I get my best ideas like have you seen like at 3 a.m. or something, and that's when you design, or is it kind of just?
I try not to have those 3 a.m. 3 a.m. sessions no more.
Come earlier.
I'm not built like that no more, man. Sorry, I forgot your question. What was it?
No, like just like what's your creative process?
I don't have one. I have seasons where I'm like designing a lot, and then there's seasons where I don't even open my MacBook for 2-3 weeks, a month. You know what I mean? So it just depends. It depends what I got going on in life. It's, you know, because there's a lot of times where like I'll have a whole, you know, collection in the cut, and I'm just like, just waiting on it, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's like I'll just rest a little bit. It just depends how I feel. I don't really have a creative process. Things just happen. Yeah.
So where could people like go online and like buy your stuff, or is there anywhere like in person they can go? Because
I try to go. I try to go on your website. It didn't let me. That's all.
No, the website's being rebuilt right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually releasing Delivery 1 of the collection the day of the show.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, the day of the show, Delivery 1 will be available.
I guess it's good because if we're talking about it, I guess it brings like a little more anxious, because now I'm just like, I want to know what's behind the screen because it doesn't let me in, you know. So yeah. I guess it's good. It's a good thing like that. That's
because I know like a while back you were like in a store at the mall.
Oh yeah. I was in store at a like sneaker and a streetwear shop at the Aurora Mall.
Was that just like a little temporary kind of thing?
Yeah, because they were temporary. They were in and out. I think they were in there only like a year. But that was a super cool experience too. Just being in store, you know, walking into the mall and being able to see a World of Fear piece on a hanger was like just so cool. Yeah. So I'd like to get back in store somewhere, but it's definitely got to be the right fit. Can't just be anywhere. So yeah.
What's the goal? I guess like, what do you want to be like in stores like that, or more like people to find you online and they have to find you, or like you're saying in the right store? Is that kind of like the right place, not just anywhere to have it for sale?
Yeah, I mean the store's got to fit the vibe of the store. You know, the other products that they have in there. It's got to be fitting. It's got to be, you know, up to par for where I feel World of Fear is. But yeah, it is super important being in store, because it's like when you see things online and you see my price and you see, you know, some of the stuff looks basic, and it's like, and then you see it in person, it's like, oh, okay, you know, it's way different. So yeah, I would like to be back in store, because it's definitely important for the consumer to be able to see the product in real time and feel the quality of it and understand how much time, you know, it took to build it.
And are you the one? So you, I mean, going back to a little bit, because you design like the whole designs, and do you do like the what the fuck's it called, like how it feels and all that stuff? Do you choose everything perfectly to it, or you design the colors, or is it all you 100% that you design everything?
Yeah, some of the stores, some of the stuff that I have is like sourced out, so I order blanks. But lately, like the whole collection is, I think like 70% of it is from my own cut and sew. So yeah, I'm just getting to the cut and sew, but up until this point, it was a lot of blanks. Yeah. But.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's gonna be like moving forward. It's gonna be a little bit more cut and sew, just so it can be more 100% you.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely be more me. So when they had, when they were gonna put me on the Denver Fashion Week list, they put me on streetwear night. It was like streetwear and sneakers, and I was like, it's not very fitting for this collection. You're not going to see any sneakers, and it's not very streetwear. And so now I'm showcasing on May 6th under local couture. So the first time World of Fear is labeled couture, and I mean I like that. Yeah,
that's good. It gives it gives it a different spice to it. Like
Yeah. Because I mean I knew eventually, like I said, I'd seen World of Fear as a lot more. And I knew like couture, high fashion is where World of Fear belongs. But I think for the first time, somebody from outside put me there. You know what I mean? It's like, okay.
So is it like another kind of like brand under World of Fear, or is it like someone else's like that is that the couture is?
No, so like couture is just like
it's like a type of fashion, no?
Yeah, it's like a type of fashion.
Okay.
Like Louis Vuitton, Saint Laurent,
they're a couture.
Off-White.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like someone like a brand name or something.
No.
Okay.
That's like the
classification. I
yeah,
guess.
that's the classification of
okay.
Yeah. So there's like streetwear, which, you know, from streetwear brands like.
I took a guess. I don't know any fashion.
Yeah, no,
that's what I thought.
from like streetwear brands, you're gonna get tees, hoodies, hats. That's like streetwear, you know.
Okay.
And then
more everyday kind of
And then once you go up, you know, it's like when you see dresses and just like more pieces that you don't see like on a day-to-day basis, that's really couture. You know what I mean? Like I said,
Okay.
Louis Vuitton.
So it just puts you up way like on a different level. Like you're labeled as a couture now instead of just like a streetwear.
Yeah. Definitely add some value to it, I guess. Like it makes, I guess it gives the brand a different view, you know. So yeah.
Go.
I was just gonna say, kind of just to kind of start wrapping up. What's one thing that you want to be remembered by? We like to ask this question to most of the people we have on here, just to.
Yeah, I think about this question a lot, you know, because growing up, I realized that being a designer wasn't as important as just being a human being. So it's like I wouldn't, you know, if I, you know, when I die, or what I want to be remembered by is like just a great person, you know, just a good person. Just I don't know, like where to but not just a designer. I would not want to be remembered as World to Fear, the kid who designed clothes. I think that would be a waste of my life if that's how I was remembered.
It's just a label.
Yeah. I would just like to be a great person, man. Somebody who, reached for the most out of life. Somebody who was great to the people around him. Somebody who was willing to help anybody. I think that's what I want to be known for, and I think a lot of that hasn't shown yet, but it'll come. Yeah, because as I grow, I realize how important it is to bring people with me, or just help people. And it's like, man, in those moments that I'm doing that, it's like, this is life. Like, this is what it's about. It's not even about the clothes or the things that I design. It's like the experiences and the people that I meet. And, if I can leave a good impression or inspire somebody, I think that's what I want to be known for, and not just a designer.
Because what they say, it's like, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, bring others with you.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome, dude. No, I appreciate you, opening up, about that whole stuff, your life going down.
Yeah, I thought I was going to cry, man. I thought I was going to cry because that I haven't been able to explain that night that I had with God without crying. So,
so you had me tearing up over here too. I was like, fuck.
Dude, yeah.
Because just hearing like other people's reactions is just like, or like their stories. It's like,
yeah, it's powerful. Yeah,
it's some powerful stuff. I'm just getting like chills and stuff.
Yeah, it was so real. That night was so real for me, dude. I think about it all the time, and it keeps me grounded. And every time that I think about it, I cry. I have that moment, and it's like, that night changed my life, dude. That night changed my life forever, and yeah, it'll never be the same.
Yeah, and I think just like to kind of reaffirm it a little bit, like, I think it's okay to cry, like, especially as men, like, it's okay to cry. It's okay if that's the way you express yourself. Like, it's okay.
Yeah,
like, it's it's fine. People are always scared to hide that side of them, and just like, it's okay. Like,
yeah, grown men cry, man. Grown men cry, and I think
if you don't see them cry, they cry in silence when they're by themselves.
Yeah, which is worse, and that's why most men commit suicide, because they deal with pain in silence, and that's not okay. I think we need to normalize men being human beings. We have emotions. We go through a lot, and yeah, we at the end of the day got to be tough, and we got to set the example, and provide and all those things. But we're real, and we have emotions, and just like everybody else. Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Couldn't have said it any better. Where could people find you?
On Instagram, AngeloRivera.design, and World to Fear. Yeah, that's about it. I'm not really on much other socials. WorldToFear.com. Launching May 6th.
Stay posted on that event, huh?
Denver Fashion Week. Come witness my collection in real time, man. It's going to be amazing.
And then you got like the link in your bio. And
yeah, the link in my bio. Just use the link in my bio to purchase tickets. Yeah, I know I sound like I'm just like repeating myself, dude. But I'm excited. I'm excited.
No, man,
it's gonna be great.
As you should be, man. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it has been. But yeah, I'm excited for May 6th. I hope you guys come out. I hope a lot of people that know me or come out and see how much I've grown and see how it's gonna be great, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, I'm super excited for all that. But thank you, dude, again, for coming all the way out here.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit of a drive, but
no, it's all right, man. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys all for joining, and just remember that an act of rebellion is to question. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated.